สวัสดีครับอาจารย์ครับผม
Good evening. Greetings to everybody. Welcome to another Zoom meeting. Everyone is welcome to join. If they have any question, they can come into the room and ask. If not, they can stay and watch live on Facebook or on YouTube. We'll start with the first person who came in first, which is Felicia Chan. Felicia.
Good evening, Prajan. I don't have question for today. My meditation progress is good. Thank you for your Dharma teaching. Sadhu, sadhu.
You're welcome. Okay. Next is Kate Yenso from Penang. Kate Yenso.
Good evening, Tan Ajahn. Yeah, good evening. So far, no question, Tan Ajahn.
All right. Sajal Ka from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Thank you, Tanajan. I have no questions so far.
Okay. Johanna from Indonesia.
Good evening, Tanajan. I have one question. Tanajan, is it the mindfulness that generates ubeka or the ubeka that generates mindfulness, Tanajan? Because I found that to maintain the mindfulness, the mind needs a lot of ubeka as its fuel to maintain it long. So, Tanajan, which one generates?
I think mindfulness will be the one that will generate ubeka.
But to maintain the mindfulness, then we need ubeka, right, Tanajan?
No, you need energy.
Mm-hmm.
You need the energy to continue on maintaining mindfulness. Effort, you need effort, right effort, not ubeka. If you're lazy, you will not be able to maintain mindfulness. You won't recite Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. So you have to have effort, the effort to train or to develop mindfulness. Reciting a mantra or watching what your body is doing all the time. Then your mind cannot think or think less. With the mind thinking less, the emotion will be less, and the calmness of the mind will be more. The restlessness will be less. So you don't have to worry which comes first. What you have to worry is can you train yourself in mindfulness all the time or not? So just keep recite Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. If you're lazy, then you won't recite Bhutto. If you're not lazy, then you can keep reciting Bhutto, Bhutto, or keep watching your breath. I'm watching your body, whichever the case may be.
Okay. Yeah, And I also found that any kind of thoughts, reaction, and interactions that imprinted identity to the mind, and the identity put burden to the mind, Thanajan. So right now I'm in the state of preferring peace of mind out of them all.
Just keep reciting mantra. Stop thinking, then you'll get peace of mind.
Okay, Thanajan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, Kok Seng from Singapore.
Good evening, Ajahn. I have a question today that is regarding my practice. Usually I would wake up at about 5 a.m. to do my meditation, but this morning I was unable to sleep. So at 3 a.m. I wake up and I do my meditation for about 2 hours until about 5 a.m. And after about 5 a.m. plus, I feel a bit sleepy, so I go back to sleep again. And by the time I wake up, it's about 8 a.m. Okay, the first part of my question, so I'd just like to hear your advice. Do you think, is it advisable to go back to sleep when I feel tired, or do I try to stay awake even after I finish the 2 hours meditations, and instead of going back to the bed and lie down? That's my first part of the question.
Well, it's up to you what you want. You want to meditate, you continue on meditating. You want to rest, you take a rest.
The second part of the question is, in the morning, late morning, I'll meditate about an hour, and I'm not able to meditate longer because my mind will be thinking about the preparation for lunch, what to cook and how to cook and so on. So I'll be thinking about all these things, and therefore I'm not able to sit longer in the later part of the morning.
So
yeah, so the most I can sit is only about an hour in the late morning. And so far for today, I noticed that my mind is still have not gone into any absorption. It's still running away, and after that chasing back, running away, chasing back.
that's why you need to be alone and not working. See? If you're working and if you're with people, you have to interact, you have to use your thoughts. But if you're alone by yourself, then you don't have to interact or do anything. Then you can maintain mindfulness continuously.
Presently, I'm staying with my family, so so presently I'm not. It's not possible for me to be alone.
But then it's not possible for you to meditate. You can meditate, but you'll find that you are not getting any result because your mind keeps thinking about your interaction and your work. So what can you do? You cannot have your cake and eat it too, huh?
There's nothing I can do. I just have to stick to this routine.
Yeah. That's why the Buddha teach the condition that requires for meditator to succeed is first seclusion, second not socializing or interacting with anybody, and third you have to have moderation in eating, not eating too much, and fourth always maintain mindfulness all the time. If you can have these 4 factors, these four conditions, then your meditation will be successful easily. Do you have these four conditions or not? Okay. All right, then we go to Professor Kenneth from Switzerland. Are you working or are you on vacation?
No, we're working again, Tanajan. This is the
New semester?
around about this is the 5th week of the semester, so we're in the middle.
I see.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yes, Tanajan, I would like to ask a question regarding to do with the arising of anger. Because I know for a long time, I noticed there's some very specific things or types of people who really seem to trigger me a lot. And in particular, if I know someone is being dishonest, this is something I find very hard to
The
deal
reason
with.
for your problem with anger is your expectation. You expect something from people. When they don't produce that expectation, then you can get angry at them. You desire for them to be honest, but they're not honest. So you get angry. So you have to understand that the world is full of different type of people. There are some honest people and there are some dishonest people. People are like fruits, different types of fruits. You have bananas, you have apples, you have cherries. You can't expect everybody to be apples or cherries. Yeah. Some are cherries, some are apples. You just have to take them for what they are.
Yeah, I think I've also noticed recently that even if there are several other people who are experiencing this dishonest person, most people don't really seem to be so bothered as I am. And I wonder is it worthwhile in my case looking back to try and find the source of why dishonest people really get me going?
That's because maybe you despise them, you don't like them. Because you maybe have a certain notion of what people should be, honest, straight, but you understand that the world is not perfect. So people have different level of integrity.
Yeah, I mean, I know these things. People are different, and there are good people and not so good people. And I know how to try and deal with it when it arises. But I still find getting myself tripped up again and again by just a very certain type of person doing this thing. So it's
Yes, you have to constantly remind yourself not to expect everybody to be perfect. You can always say, there's a saying that in Thailand, times measure the distance measure the horse, and time measure a person. So it takes time to know them. Whether they are really honest or not honest. When you first meet them, they might show that they're honest, but after you know them for a while, they might not be. So you should not judge people on the first impression. You have to expect, maybe what you see is not what it is actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't fit into this question here, but what I'm saying is you should not expect, you should not have a certain preconceived notion of what person is. You should look at them for what they really are.
Yeah. Okay.
So usually you should be suspicious of people when you don't know them, especially when you first meet them. they can show how nice and how, they are, but maybe it's just a front, they're just putting up with.
Yeah.
So just don't trust any what you see. It takes time for you to be able to find out exactly what a person is.
Yes.
And then you should not be surprised if the person turned out to be dishonest. If you already have this suspicion in the back of your mind, then you won't be disappointed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But it doesn't mean you mistrust everybody, but you just have to be slightly careful,
Yes.
not to put all your trust in the person. Maybe 50%.
Okay.
And the other 50% just wait and see how that person does thing.
Okay.
So usually, if you have a Ubeka, your mind will tend to be on a neutral position, in which you don't expect anything from anybody, good or bad, right or wrong. You just wait and see, let the person show their true colors.
Yeah. I think my problem is I expect people to be honest. And when it doesn't happen, that's when it triggers me off. Yeah.
That's why a lot of people go to jail, right?
Okay.
Okay. So
Thank
the root cause is your desire or your expectation. And when you don't get what you expect, then you get angry. It applies to every other thing as well. You expect people to do something and they don't do it, and you can get angry or disappointed.
Mhm.
So don't expect anything. Just take things as they come.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Tanajan. Thank you very much.
Next, Karen from San Jose, California. Hi.
Good morning. I have no questions. I'm learning a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Next, Kafai Lim from Malaysia.
Good day to you, Tanajan. I have no question today. Thank you.
All right. Nanapat from Bangkok.
ค่ะนมัสการค่ะท่านอาจารย์ I don't have any question right now ค่ะ
All right. Devin from the USA, Washington State. I heard you're on your way to Thailand pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, we leave on the 17th next month, and we'll arrive on the 18th in Thailand at night.
Okay.
So yeah, things are a little bit busy these next 2 weeks, but should be good once we land, I hope, as everything goes smoothly.
Okay, I hope so.
I don't have any questions
You don't have
otherwise.
any question? Okay. All right. Let me go to Anuragi from New Zealand. It's quite late for him. 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock now.
2:16 in the morning. Yeah, so yeah, I don't have any questions, Tanajan, so I'm happy to listen in. Let me ask later on. Thank you.
Okay. Next we'll go to Om and Aim. Om and Aim. How are you?
Hello, ค่ะอาจารย์
You go to school tomorrow?
Yes.
Finish your homework?
Yes.
Okay. When you go to bed?
22 o'clock.
22, 10 o'clock, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And what time you get up?
Maybe 7 a.m.
7.
I wake up at 7.
And when school start? 8?
9.
9. Okay. Okay. Study hard and be good boys and girls. Okay.
I have a question.
All right.
Why do we have nightmare when we watch scary movie?
Because you keep thinking about it. It is being recorded in your memory. So when you sleep, this recorded memory will then appear in your dream. So try not to watch scary movies. Try to watch good movies.
I also have a question.
Okay.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Ghosts. There are two types of ghosts: real ghosts and fake ghosts. Real ghosts, we are the real ghosts. Right now, we have the body, but when we don't have the body, we become ghosts ourselves.
Okay.
And the fake ghost is the ghost that you keep thinking that scare you. When you're alone and you start to think, oh, there's something around me, then this is a fake ghost. It's not real. You create it in your mind. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no need to be afraid of ghosts, because real ghosts don't scare you. It's the fake ghosts that scare you, but they cannot do anything to you either. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. Okay. Next, Ricardo. Ricardo from Uruguay.
Good morning, Ajahn. Last Tuesday, you told me to practice more and to become a monk. And I'm thinking hard about becoming a monk next year. So my question is, in Thailand, do you take, like I'm 65 years old, can a person of this age become a monk? Second, can I be like 1 year monk or something like that?
Well, there is no what you call specific rule about age. So it depends on the person who takes you in as a monk, whether he will take you in or not. You might go to a monk and they say, oh, you're too old. But if you go to another monk and say, oh, you're welcome, you can become a monk. So it varies from monks, from preceptor to preceptor, person who presides on your ordination. So you just have to go search for the one that will ordain you.
Okay. Thank you.
But you can live like a monk without being a monk. But that's the problem there, because then you have to finance yourself with your 4 requisites of life. But if you become a monk, then somebody else will finance for you, pay for your 4 living requisites. So that's only the benefit of becoming a monk. But other than that, if you can afford, if you have enough saving to pay for all your expenses, then you can just maybe go to live in a monastery as an aid preceptor. You don't have to become a monk. Or if you don't want to go to a monastery, you can make your home the monastery if you live alone.
Okay.
So there are other options. But to really advance and really succeed, you need to be near an enlightened teacher and be in a community of monks who are enlightened, because they can help you. They can pull you along, let's put it that way. If you're alone, you can be dragged down by your own defilement without knowing it.
Yes. Okay. That's why I think you are my teacher.
Yeah, but I'm only a distant teacher. So I cannot be near you all the time. But you have to, if you want to be successful in this path, you have to be willing to live like a beggar, like a homeless person. not expecting much as far as the living conditions are concerned. Just enough to exist.
Okay.
So it's with your age, it might be a little difficult because you might need special need, medical needs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't been trained from your young age to live through the harsh conditions of life. So when you have to do this at your age, it might be very difficult to do.
Okay. Okay.
But it's not impossible. But you just have to, put in there, put in yourself. It's yourself more than anything else.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, Steve William. Where are you from, Steve? This is your first time?
Yes, thank you. I'm from Kirkland, Washington, United States, near Seattle. Aya Santasika mentioned that you offer this, and thank you. I guess I wanted to ask, I just got out of a 2-week jhanas retreat, but I'm doing my normal practice, which is about 3 hours every morning. But I'm trying to, I don't know, for me it's really hard to do even get close to the jhanas, and I'm sort of trying to understand if I should try to pursue that or just focus on mindfulness, or how to balance that for someone in lay life.
Well, you need mindfulness in order to get into jhana. So your first goal is to maintain mindfulness all the time, whether you're meditating or not. So you can train yourself in mindfulness from the time you get up. By either focusing on your body, movement, action, use a mantra to hang on to, so that your mind cannot go think about other things. So developing mindfulness is really to stop your mind from thinking, to empty your mind. Because when you enter into jhana, that's what you do. You empty everything, all your thoughts, and your perception, and so forth. So this is what you need to do. When you're not meditating, you have to be maintaining mindfulness, training in mindfulness. Whether watching what you are doing and just focus only on that and ignore everything else. Recite the mantra as you do whatever you're doing, to prevent your mind from thinking aimlessly.
And I've read Ajahn Bua's book, How to Be an Arhat, where he talks about Buddha. How does that, I mean, sometimes it seems like doing that is a separate thing versus just being mindful of what I'm contacting. I'm not quite sure how to
Well, sometimes you say you're mindful of what you're doing, but at the same time, your mind still sneak away and think about something else.
Yeah.
So you can use another one to stop it. You can recite a mantra. This mantra will then more or less we strengthen, double strengthen your mindfulness. First you focus on your action, then also recite a mantra. If you find that by focusing on your action, it's not enough because your mind still sneak away and think about something else. Then you use mantra to help stop the thought from running away.
Okay, that's how the snakes away. I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so Buddha can bring here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you can maintain this until you get continuous mindfulness, then when you meditate, you'll find it easy to sit and easy to enter into jhana.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
That's very helpful.
This retreat that you went, is it run by the two Buddhist monks in?
No, it was Lee Brasington. He's a Western teacher He bases his approach on the suttas.
I see. And is it in Seattle also?
It was online. There were people all over
Online.
in Europe and all the U.S. Yeah, I was in a Thai monastery actually, in a near here. They let me stay in a little trailer, like a friend's Ajahn Ritti. He's a friend at Dhamma Monastery, so he let me stay in we have a little like a camper trailer, and I use it like a kuti. So he let me stay there for 2 weeks. That was very good.
Okay. Good. Keep doing it. The more you do it, the better will be the result. The result depends on your act, on what you do, not what you want, but what you do.
Okay. Yeah. What you do.
The
Good.
more
Thank you.
mindfulness you do, the more result you will get.
And there's not much time left because I'm old and very aware of that. So
Yes, it's good to think like that, so you don't get lazy.
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Good. Next.
Thank you.
Yok Bay from New York.
Good evening, Ajahn.
Any question today?
Yes. My question is, I don't know, this month I always dream about the baby in my mind. I don't know what's happened for my mind.
Well, just know that this is something that happens in the past, something that you have recorded in your mind. And when you sleep, this can be replayed in your mind as dreams. You just acknowledge it and don't be bothered by what you dream.
Okay. And also I remain my meditation in the morning, because sometimes you just at the nighttime, whatever you have the time, you can do it, the meditation. The morning time is good for me. Do I have to set up the time for me, the nighttime or PM, the AM time for it?
Well, you can do any time you want. The more, the better. So
Okay.
you have to choose the time, then find the time that is most effective for you.
Okay. And another question for my friend, right? They say, how come the mom is not put the shoes on it?
This is ancient traditions in India. Monks supposed to be humble. Monks supposed to be homeless.
Okay.
So they're not supposed to have any possession.
Okay, thank you. And also one more question is, how come the mom give us like basically for the hand is different kind of color?
The thread.
Yeah.
This is just rituals. It's not really part of Buddhism. It's just invented recently by monks, just to satisfy the craving of the lay people who need something to soothe their mind from fear or from whatever they need. They feel that if they have something, then they'll be protected.
Oh, that's why she said for lucky. Say you donate, you give it
I know. See, mom wants you to donate, so they want you to sell you this stuff.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Renong or Penong, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Where are you from, Penong?
Good evening, Ajahn. I'm from Indonesia.
Okay, Indonesia, yes. Any question tonight?
No, just come to say thank you to Ajahn. After almost listen to Ajahn teaching for 2 years, I've been improving a lot in my life.
Okay, happy to hear that. Keep on doing it.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Next, B. Ravin from Bangkok.
Good evening, Thanajan. Actually, I have a question and a remark. My question actually kind of follows on from Professor Kenneth's question regarding expectation. I noticed that sometimes I encounter, many different types of people at the workplace, and sometimes I can't help but having some certain reactions, whether it's positive or negative. Maybe probably due to the fact that what they do influences what happens to me as well. So I would like to seek your advice on what should I do if something goes, not according to plan, or if something unexpected happens. Should I just take the same mindset of having minimal expectation and expecting the worst, so that I don't?
That's right. You should look at everything like a natural phenomena. You don't expect much from nature, right? You don't know when it's gonna rain, when it's gonna, storm or whatever. So you just take them as they come, because everything is a natural process. But we somehow separate them and say, "Oh, this is human," but we don't know that human are also natural process. They are all anatta, the Buddha says, anatta. So it's not man-made. Everything that human do, we call this man-made, but it's really, it's natural-made, nature-made, but we call this man-made. We are not man, we are not human-made. We are all made from nature. We are part of nature. So you can look at everything like part of, and look at the nature at nature, then you don't expect much from it, from nature. You take nature as it is.
Oh, I see. That's an interesting perspective. I never really looked at it that way. But now that you mentioned it, it really does make sense now, because our body is made out of 4 elements. So sooner or later, they're gonna disintegrate, right?
And all that we try to fight for and all that we try to do for will mean nothing. Look at history. Look at people during the ancient time. They're just like us. They're trying to fight. They're trying to manage, try to control things, try to build things. But in the end, they all left the earth, and everything was left to ruin. Right? You have ancient ruin. These are all, things that can teach us not to worry too much, or not to try too much physically, building things physically, because it's subjected to impermanence. Everything will eventually fall apart, no matter how well you build it. But you better build the mind, because the mind doesn't fall apart. The mind will become better and better as you put your effort into the mind itself, rather than into the body or all the other physical things, because they are all temporary. It's like building sandcastle on the beach. When low tide, when you have high tide, then it's all washed away, and all your effort just gone to waste. So everything you're trying to do here is basically all you want to do is to work to provide yourself with the 4 requisites of living the soul. That's the real purpose of working. Other than that, it's just all just illusion. To be rich, to build whatever, the fastest train or the fastest plane and so forth. It doesn't, it doesn't really matter what you do or not do regarding the physical thing. What matters is what you do with the mental thing. The more you train your mind to be calm and under control, the better off your mind will be, the more peaceful and happy you will be. So I think you should pay more attention toward working with your mind, rather than working for your mind than working for your body. The Buddha emphasized the monk to work for the body as little as possible. Just have enough to eat and a place to hide from the rain and the sun, but concentrate all the effort in making the mind happy, peaceful and happy. Because you can retain this, it's not subjected to anicca. Eventually, if you get to the highest level, But other than that, everything that you do will eventually fall apart.
That's true. And, sometimes I hear people, make quotes like, oh, make this life worth living, make your mark on the world. But then, as you just mentioned, it's only temporary, and they don't know where they're going to be reborn next.
Look at the pyramids, how much effort they have to put in. And what does it do now? It doesn't do anything.
That's true. It's a nice landmark, but we don't remember.
It's the illusion of grandeur for someone who can afford to do it and say, "Oh, I want to build, the largest tomb in the world to bury myself in."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's a good perspective to keep in mind, because whenever I tend to start having delusion, it's always good to pull the mind back. And I think it's good to know that, oh, everything is made of nature. That would help to really reduce my expectation of people.
And also don't put too much effort into the physical thing. Put more effort into the mental thing.
Yes,
actually, the physical, all you need is enough to get by, enough to exist. And then you can have more time and effort for your mind. Purify your mind, mental purification, getting rid of your defilements by the practice of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya.
Yes. Actually, that was my remark, Thanajan. I noticed that during the past few weeks, I tried to make my mind calm before I start meditating by, sometimes listening to Dhamma or reading books, and I found that really helped. It helped my meditation to be more strong compared when just sit down and meditate straight away. So that really helped out.
Another thing that will help you is to reduce the amount of work that you don't need to do.
Yes, that's a challenge, but I shall try.
Okay, is that all the question for you tonight?
Yes, that's all for now. Thank you, Thanajan, for your advice.
Next, Adeline and Philip from Malaysia.
Good evening, Thanajan.
Good evening, Thanajan. Don't have any questions tonight. Just listening. Thank you.
Okay. Sri and Czech from Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia.
Good evening, Thanajan.
Good evening, Thanajan.
During the Q&A, you said like somebody asked you how to treat everybody equally, and then you said like look at them as body and mind, and but in order to do that we need equanimity, right, Ajahn? Like to really see people as body and mind.
Well, equanimity will help you stop reacting to the differences in people. Without equanimity, you will react to some people with love and to some other people with hate, because your mind still have this what you call discrimination working. But when you calm down your mind, then this discrimination will stop working, and then you'll be just barely knowing. Be like a camera. A camera doesn't discriminate the picture it takes, right? Whether it's a boy or a girl or a man or woman, rich or poor. It doesn't know anything about it. So this is how the mind should be like. Yeah. But it knows, we know the difference in people, but we can also treat them equally as being natural phenomena, anatta. ones. The five elements. The body composed of the four elements, and the mind is the fifth element, connected to the four elements. The four elements of the body is earth, water, wind, and fire. The fifth element is the knowing element, which is the mind. And that's all we are, elements. Like in chemistry, you say we are all, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and so forth. If you diagnose it in the chemistry way, you see that the whole body is made of chemical components, right?
Right. True.
Or elements: nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So that's all we are.
New analogy, Ajahn. Like a camera. Try to think of the eyes as a camera when instead of yeah.
Yeah, and your ears like the microphone. Microphone pick up all types of sound, good or bad sound. It doesn't react to the sound it picks up with. It just pick up the sound. The mind should be like that. The mind should be merely knowing the sound without having to react to the sound that it picks up. The Buddha say, what you see, you should merely see. What you hear, you should merely see. What you smell, you should merely smell. What you taste, you should merely taste, without giving any reaction to it. Don't react with love, hate, fear, or misunderstanding or delusion.
Your Dhamma is really helpful to me, Ajahn. You like I realized that sometimes just the change of like just listening to your Dhamma, just a change of perspective really helps. You were talking about like sorry, it's maybe a different topic, but I used to have to listen to somebody complain, and but after listening to your Dhamma, I changed my mind and see it as a form of dana, and give the time to that person, see it as a form of dana, and just listening but not reacting, and also just change my mind that see it as a form of giving, and it's totally changed. It really helps me, Ajahn. Like I don't feel bad anymore after that, because I used to I had to listen to that person, but I didn't feel good. But like after you taught me, I changed the perspective and see as a form of dana, and that really helps solve that difficulty. That and it becomes something happy, like for me now, instead of like something that's dragging. Sorry, I can't explain it very well, but I just want to thank you for that, Ajahn, like just to help me change the perspective of things with your Dhamma.
Yes, it makes you feel better that way.
Yeah, it really solved the problem.
But rather than being annoyed, you change your attitude and say, maybe this person needs some help, and the help is that, and you can give it to that person and give it.
Yeah. After I listened to you, I changed the perspective, and it helps me tremendously. And even that person changed. I really see that after listening, I listen to the person, they become happy. Like it's like something drop, and then so it helps both. So it's yeah, you totally. So it's like miracle. Like you changed my the way I look at things, and everything changed. Like it's become positive instead of something that's so like draggy for me. So your Dharma really heals.
It's a form of metta, loving kindness. You radiate toward that person.
I mean, I see the change, right? Like I see the change. I really see the difference. Like it becomes a positive experience for both. Like, and I see like, yeah, my mind is totally different. Like it become a form of the 10 merits you were talking about. It makes me happy. So it's really profound Dhamma that helps me a lot. Thank you.
Good. Do you have anything to ask tonight or today for you?
Tanajan, I'd like to know about mindfulness and focus.
Mindfulness and what?
Focus.
Same thing. Focus is in English. Mindfulness is you have to be mindful. So yeah, to focus you have to be mindful or concentration. It's the same thing with maybe the word might slightly different means slightly different, but it's really means that you concentrate on one object, on one thing at a time.
Okay.
Especially for us in Buddhism, our mindfulness or concentration is for the purpose of stopping the mind from general thinking aimlessly. Keep the mind in the present. This is what mindfulness is. Stay in the present. Don't let your mind drift into the past or drift into the future. Because if it does, it will not be calm, it will not be still. The only way for it to be still is to be in the present, just to be merely knowing and not thinking.
Okay. And Tanajan, like you taught us before, like don't change like horses during the race. Meaning that let's say if I decided to use breath for my meditation, like but if my mind drift away, but I use like I recite Buddha, and then I will go back to the breath, right? That's not changing the horses, right?
If the condition requires it, then it's not changing because merely you want to change, but you change because there's a need to change. Like sometimes you cannot focus on your breath, and you find that by reciting the mantra can then bring your mind back into focus again. Then you can do that. But not just simply because I'm sitting here and watching my breath and I'm not getting anything. Maybe I should try mantra or something. Not like that.
Oh, okay. Until I lose like my focus, then
there's a purpose. There's a purpose for the switch. If there's no purpose, then you don't switch. Especially eventually you want to stick to just the breath alone, because then the mind can become still that way. On the mantra can also do that also, but it under different circumstances when you can no longer focus on your breath. Like when the pain becomes more intense and you feel that you cannot watch your breath, then maybe you want to use the mantra instead.
Okay. So when the pain is gone after I use mantra, can I go back to?
If you use mantra and the pain is gone, then you don't need anything because the mind will be calm by then.
Okay.
But this is on a special occasion when you can no longer focus on your breath.
Oh, okay.
But if you start with the mantra, then you don't need to change because the mantra can take you all the way into jhana also. Let's keep reciting Bhutto, 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 Bhutto. And if you can stay focused on Bhutto, then you don't need to change.
Oh, okay. So, Tanajan, like if we keep reciting Bhutto, like sometimes if our mind get tired, will it like, you know?
Well, stop reciting and see what happens. If you stop reciting and your mind, if you're not thinking, then you just stay not thinking until your mind starts to think. Then you use Bhutto again.
Oh, okay.
So you use Bhutto to stop the mind from thinking. So when it's not thinking, then you can stop Bhutto. But if you want it to go deeper, then you have to continue on with Bhutto.
Oh, okay.
You have to keep on reciting Bhutto, like pushing the mind to eventually fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Bhutto will eventually push the mind to fall off a cliff. That's when it kind of drops from a high place, and then when it becomes still and quiet.
Oh, yeah.
But you must not anticipate and think ahead. When will this happen? If you do this, it won't happen. You just have to keep pushing the mind without realizing how far the cliff is, the cliff edge is. Just keep pushing until eventually when you get to the cliff, to the edge, then it will just fall off.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Same way with watching your breath. Same way with watching your breath. Just keep watching your breath in and out, in and out. Eventually, it will fall off a cliff.
Okay. Yeah. Like of course my mind drift away. Sometimes I watch like the breath. So I use Bhutto, and then coming back to the breath. That's why I'm asking you, like, it is okay, right? Not changing the horse. Like I do not want to back and forth, right?
Yeah. So if you with Bhutto, then when you switch to Bhutto, then maybe you should just stick to Bhutto and then go back to the breath. Because if you go back to the breath, then you'll end up with the same problem again, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll try. Yeah.
Just stay with Bhutto until you get to the end, get to when it goes off the cliff.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
Ajahn, that's a cute analogy. I like that.
That's what happened when the mind enter into Sati. It sometimes feels like coming down from falling from a high place. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Tanajan.
Next, Valaiporn, where are you from? Bangkok?
Yes, Namaskar, Tanajan. I'm from Bangkok. I have no question.
Okay. Next, Belinda from Singapore.
Good evening, Tanajan. It's about expectation as well. Coming from earlier, Kenneth and B asked. There are two questions. One, could Ajahn tell us more on how to manage self expectations towards the self? Because I find that sometimes we can be very perfectionist. It can be very harsh towards the self. Sometimes we can be too lenient. Like example, if you have not practiced, you are not diligent enough to practice mindfulness, and when we get angry, sometimes anger we can't. It's anatta. You cannot stop the anger. Like you feel that I don't own the anger. Yeah, at the same time, I feel that because I didn't do enough, I'm not diligent enough. So, would Ajahn teach us more about expectations toward the self? How do we balance on that?
Well, you have to first separate from the possible from the impossible. What is impossible, then you don't try to do it. Do only the possible. So that's how I would But as far as the self is concerned, it's a delusion. There's no self. There's just a mind. There's a thinker and a knower. And what makes the thinker and knower happy is to stop thinking. So see, when you have a self, you set up a goal for a self. Like, I have to be respected. I have to be rich. I have to, and all this. It's based on delusion. So it just drives me crazy. I think you should set up the goal for happiness. And the way to be happy is follow the Buddha's ways of being happy, the 10 ways of being happy, or the 32 or 38 way of being happy, of conducting yourself so that you can become happy. In the Mangala Sutta. I think this is what you should. You need a roadmap, to make you happy, make yourself happy. Either the 10 ways of making happy, like charity, keeping the precept, mental improvement, mental development, and so forth. Or the 38 ways of making yourself happy. Associate yourself with the wise and dissociate yourself from the foolish people. And just study the 38 and try to follow this recommendation. And then you can go wrong with that. Rather than trying to do something with something that you don't even know whether there is a self or not. It's all delusion. If you think in terms of self, it's a delusion. It's not real. Self is just an imagination created by the mind. When you stop thinking, when you meditate, when you enter into jhana, then the self disappears. All that is left is just a knower. So don't think of a self. Think of the knower, how to make the knower happy. Okay, that's about what I can tell you. I don't know if it's correct or not.
Okay, Ajahn, I will look into that. I contemplate Ajahn advice.
Yes.
The second question is about the comment or expansion of what Kenneth and B they have discussed. It's about expectation to others. Sometimes we feel like we know the person for a long time. It can be family members, can be friends since old days. And then we form expectation. We thought we know the person. So, but sometimes condition changes. Maybe the friend has a different condition, afflicted emotions, or various conditions from external, very external or internal. So all of us have defilement. So sometimes I think my friend is very honest, but at certain time after a period of time, I have expectation that, okay, I know this person. But it turned out that, the person may have changed because of external conditions or because of defilement or afflictions. So if I see the person as anicca,
And then you're looking at the right thing. Everything is anicca.
So I think it's easier to forgive because sometimes rather than take the person as he has changed and just know that the condition is as that, then maybe to protect myself, I stay away from the person for a period and until such that the person is restored. Then I find ways to be careful when I next deal with a friend. So bearing in mind that I may know the person long enough, but sometimes condition or affliction may come about. So I think that makes it helps forgiveness in that sense. I tend not to trust people, Ajahn. So sometimes I feel that also bring about suffering. So every time when I meet somebody new, I feel a lot of anxiety, like not able to trust. But at the same time, I recognize that it's important to be mindful. Like Ajahn said, it takes time to know somebody first. It takes time or condition or situation to know how we react to crisis. Because most of the time we behave well when in times of good time. So when in times of negative or a crisis, that's also when we see how everyone reacts. So that also bring about maybe karma or a lot of forgiveness. So maybe Ajahn can shed more lights on that, how I feel or what I think about this.
Well, just use the three characteristics of existence. Everything is anicca. Every people are anicca. They change, and they are like natural phenomena, which they themselves cannot control themselves even, and we ourselves cannot control ourselves either. Our reaction, unless we develop enough mindfulness and wisdom, then we can control our reaction to other people, to other things. So I think you should spend more time developing your mind rather than worrying about other people.
So I feel sometimes life experience, it helps to know that it's suffering, and that it propels me to work harder to strengthen the mind, and not thinking that every time I have people who help me because condition changes. So that brings about to see that things change. And yeah, so including myself, including the self, everything changes, Ajahn. So Ajahn also won't be here forever with us. So it's a good reminder to work hard. Yes.
Yeah, just to rely on yourself. That's the best, because you will always be with yourself forever. That's why the Buddha said, rely on yourself. Attahi atano nato. You are your own refuge. Other refuges are temporary. They can come and go anytime. So don't expect anything from anybody. Expect from yourself. By practicing the teaching of the Buddha, then you won't need to rely on anybody. Then whatever people do or say will not bother you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
All right. Next, Alfredo Obeka.
Hi, Bante.
Hi. Is it summer for you? Is it winter or summer for you?
Today is autumn.
Autumn.
Yes.
Spring in the north and autumn in the south.
Yes, no hot and no very cold. Equally time. My Vipassana is more better.
Really good. What do you see?
My anicca.
You see anicca, you see anatta.
Yes, my anicca is more better. The things is not totally built.
Yeah.
I am recently 37 parts to enlightenment of Buddha is very good, né, Bante?
Yes.
The base to powers, Idipadas.
Idipada.
Vimansa, Bante, is three characteristics.
There's contemplation on the three characteristics.
Vimansa, né?
Yeah, Vimansa.
Yes. Conscience is knowing. Virya is effort. And Chanda is the look for practice, né, Bante? It's very good, Idipadas.
Right. If you have the four Idipada, you will succeed with whatever you want.
Yes. 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 I like to restate the teachings of Buddha, 5 faculties and 5 powers.
And the 4 Itipadas, they are the same thing.
Yes, yes, yes. My Vipassana is very good. Not have the things is not very real. The things is more changeable.
Changing all the time, and breaking
Yes.
down, changing and breaking down, and rising
Yes.
again,
Rising
and
yes.
falling.
Yes. Yes.
So don't expect anything to remain still
Yes.
or the same.
Yes. Yes. Less problem, Bhante. Less problem.
Mhm.
Yes.
If you have less to do with them, then there will be less problem. If you have to do more with them, then there'll be more problem. Problem is dukkha.
Yes. Yes. I like the idea of doing when I have doing things. Only doing, Bhante. Not expectative.
Yeah, you do, and what you do will give you the results. If you don't do, you don't get what you want.
Yes. Yes. I enter in automatic state when I doing anything, Bhante. No, not have thinking. I think the motivation and the happiness is important to do things.
Yes.
I not do many things, but when I do things, the motivation and the happiness is important to do things correctly, Bhante. It's the same on practice, Bhante. Yes.
You have to have motivation before you can do the practice.
Yes.
This is chanta in the Itipada. Chanta is motivation.
Yes.
Then you have virya, and then you have the effort to do.
Yes.
And you have the concentration and the wisdom to you.
Yes. Yes. Conscience and vimamsa.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And the result is the faith, Bhante.
Faith, yes. Faith.
Sada.
Faith in the teaching of the Buddha. Faith.
Yes. Yes.
And this is his teaching is the right path to the liberation from suffering, from dukkha.
Yes. In Brazil, we have faith with normal things, But faith is not a normal, Faith is normal, Bhante. Faith is real,
Well,
faith in Brazil is like God, is not to change, not to take, But faith in Dhamma is real, But faith is something like you get to do,
Yes, faith in Buddhism is faith in the truth. Or faith in other thing, faith in delusion.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, Monica and Fong Sim from Malaysia.
Good evening, Tanajan.
Anything?
Yeah, Tanajan, actually I read in the Lontang Mahaprabhu's book, he has mentioned that there are 3 parts to right thoughts. First one is having, that means he advised that we don't hold thoughts of enmity or malice towards others. Then the second part is we refrain from burdening or oppressing ourselves or others. And then the third one is having resolution to rid ourselves from all entanglements. Can Tanajan please maybe give more examples or elaborate more on this?
I don't think so. I don't know much about it. I don't think much about it. Let's put it that way. So what do you want me to say?
No, it's like, for example, this right thoughts. Right thoughts, the first part is like we don't hold any thoughts of enmity towards others. So
Yes,
in normal practice,
this is compassion, and this is metta. This is to have loving kindness toward our beings. So you don't get mad, you don't get angry at anybody. You don't hold any grudges. You forgive people when they made you angry, you forgive them. Instead of suing them and ask for retribution, you say, oh, it's okay, it's a mistake, it happened, it's already gone, no problem. This is
so
what,
that is,
no enmity.
Oh, okay.
It's metta, this is the quality of metta. And not to oppress yourself is the same thing. Don't do things to hurt yourself. Like drinking alcohol, this is hurting yourself. Committing a crime is hurting yourself. So you want to make sure that your action doesn't cause any harm on yourself and on other people as well. So you maintain or keep the precepts. And the third one is what?
resolution.
Resolution to what?
To get it out from all entanglements, to free ourselves.
Yes, this is your liberation. Letting go of all attachment by seeing everything as anicca, dukkha, anatta. When you see your daughter is anicca, dukkha, anatta, then you say, "Oh, I'm not going to cling to her. I'll leave her. If she has to go, let her go." Because she's anicca, she's impermanent. One day something can happen to her, or something can happen to me, to yourself. We are all anicca, so we shouldn't cling or rely on anybody. Even our own body, we should not rely on it, because it's also anicca. See, the mind doesn't have to rely on anything. It can rely on itself. That's what the Buddha said. The mind is its own refuge. It doesn't need any refuge.
So, Panajan, regarding the second part, we refrain from burdening ourselves. How do we, what benchmark should we use or to check ourselves that, whatever we do, we don't really burden ourselves, especially our own self? I think normally it's...
When it creates worry, anxiety, then you are burdening yourself. So whatever you do for yourself must not cause any worry or anxiety. Is this good enough explanation?
Yeah, I think, okay. It's maybe more of working on my own practice, that's all. Because the second part is the more difficult one. Because I think sometimes they're so used to doing duty, so much so that there's always the doing and doing, rather than just being.
Yeah, you want to look after your own welfare, but sometimes you overdo it, so it causes more worry and anxiety because you forget about the fact of anicca and anatta. No matter how well you try to look after your own welfare, it's not predictable, right? Your own welfare, whether you will always be able to maintain it or not. So you always have to have this anicca in the back of your mind. Whatever you do, then this will then stop your mind from overdoing things. and not expecting too much from anything, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow is anicca.
Yeah, I think I like your advice that day also on when somebody is restless, it's better to think, reflect on death. So I think that one hits in very well. Yeah, because even lately we see a lot of people dying, in the airplane, suddenly you're just gone already, just like that, so very anicca.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Thanajan.
All right, you're welcome. Next, Evie from Indonesia. Unmute your microphone, Evie.
Yeah, Ajahn, can Ajahn hear me?
Louder, yeah. Speak louder.
Okay. Ajahn hear me now?
Good.
Ajahn, I want asking about dukkha. I see a dukkha, if we have a dukkha, the more we want to avoid the dukkha, the worse it gets, right? It's about the hardship of life that living in the world is suffering, including wanting to be and not wanting to be, whether we like it or not. All of this indirectly causes dukkha. So how to apply the Buddha teaching on how to see about dukkha so that we don't get too attached to everything?
By having ubekkha, you have to meditate until your mind have ubekkha. Then your mind will then not be clinging or relying on anything. Because everything that you rely on or cling to are all anicca, dukkha, anatta. That's why we do this practice to give us ubekkha, equanimity. Once we have equanimity, then we have contentment. Then we don't need to rely on anything or anybody to make us happy, because we cannot always rely on them, because they are all anicca. Understand?
And how to meditate on it while we are meditating it? It is when we come out from meditating and are still sitting, can we do the contemplation of the dukkha?
You once you come out of meditation, you can contemplate on things that you still rely on as being anicca, like money, husband, family, and anything that you rely on as a source of your happiness. You must tell yourself that they are temporary and they can turn into suffering for you when they change, when they disappear.
Just like that, contemplation that everybody will die one day, and so we just not too calculative for them and just be good, so we can create a good harmony. All right, Ajahn?
Yes, to live in harmony, to live in peace, with everyone, by not expecting anything from anybody. When you expect, then you can become aggressive. You can become harmful to the others, because when you expect something from them and they don't give you, then you can get angry at them.
Okay, Ajahn. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Next, Gary from Singapore.
No questions tonight, Thanajan. Just listening in and learning. Thank you.
Okay. Jenny Lim, where are you from? Don't recognize you. Where are you from, Jenny? You can go ahead and speak now.
Good evening, Tajan. Evening. I'm from, yes, I have a question. When the fear, I facing the fear challenging, then I lost my peace, and of course, my mind was not stable, and then I went into miserable. I almost cannot pick up myself back. Partly also like this is one of it. The second one is that when I attend to something that I find that is very negative, I used to have compassion, great compassion to accept things like that. But lately I am losing my compassion a lot until I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it, and then my anger arise, and whatever I chant the Buddha or Namo Tassa Bhagavato, all that the whole day. It's like I couldn't stable myself. It's like very shaky. Until I have to, cry it out. And I find that I'm losing my compassion a lot until then how could I, after I losing this, I'm thinking, how could I gain back my compassion again? Is it Dana is going to help, and continue giving whatever that I could do in the Dhamma?
Giving dana can also help partially, but to be effective, you have to stop your mind from thinking. So you have to recite the mantra seriously or chanting seriously, not just merely just doing it and then not continue. You have to keep chanting or reciting until your anger disappears before you can stop.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then after you have calmed down, then you can then look back and say, why did I get angry? It's probably because you expect or you wanted something, and when you don't get it, then that's caused you to have anger. So you try to reduce or eliminate your expectation, so that next time you won't get angry at anybody or anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think what you need is to really chant or really recite when you're angry, and not do anything else. Just keep chanting, not thinking about anything else. Just keep chanting or keep reciting until you feel that the mind becomes calmer and better before you can stop.
Yeah, because the peace is not there. I'm losing my peace.
So you have to rely on this chanting or reciting of the mantra.
Okay. Then the compassion.
The compassion will come back when your mind becomes calm.
Okay.
Your compassion is being blocked by your anger. Once your anger disappears, then your compassion will return. Your loving kindness, compassion will return with the calm of your mind.
I see. Thank you, Ajahn. That's all.
All right. Next, Chong Lim from Pennsylvania. If I remember correctly this time.
Yes. Good evening, Tanajan.
Good morning to you.
Thank you. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, just a question. I mean, just to share with you, I think I did share last week about the progress in my meditation practice. I guess my question today is, how do I know, when to move to the second step of meditation? I mean, I think I've consistently able to maintain calm and peace of mind. So when do I, move on to the next step, for insight?
Well, you do this when you're not meditating. You can do this when you're not meditating. By constantly reminding yourself that everything that you have is temporary. Sooner or later, you will have to lose them. Everything, even your body, is temporary. So be prepared, be ready to give up when the time comes.
Okay.
This is called anicca, or impermanent. Anatta is just a natural process, like the weather, that you cannot control. You cannot always control them. You can always keep them. No matter how hard you try, when the time comes for it to disappear, it will disappear. So this is what you have to constantly remind yourself, so you don't become complacent and rely on them to keep you happy. Because one day you might not be able to rely on them. You should rely on meditation instead. Then you want to do more meditation to keep you happy. Because once you know how to meditate and make yourself happy, then you don't have to rely on anything. You can always meditate regardless of the condition of your body or the conditions of your life. You can still be happy. Even you might be homeless, you might not have any friends, but you can still be happy if you can meditate. Okay?
Yeah.
Is this good enough for you?
No, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I do find, I mean, I do enjoy more. I mean, I know I'm somewhat beginner when it comes to meditation, maybe in the last 1 year, but I mean, lately, I do enjoy it more. If there's such a thing. But I mean, so I think, I find more inner peace, more calmness. And in fact, I do prioritize my schedule, not to say force myself to meditate. It's just that, I find time to meditate because I enjoy it.
Eventually you want to only meditate as a way of making yourself happy, because it's the cheapest and easiest way once you know how to do it. You don't have to spend money, like going to a restaurant or going to a movie. You have to spend money. But meditation, you stay in your room, close your eyes and watch your breath. And then you can become happy, better than going to a movie or going to a restaurant for dinner. So eventually you don't want to do anything else but meditate to keep yourself happy. Okay?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tajan.
All right. Next, I think somebody with I'm not sure can you see me? Okay, 9008. Where are you from?
From Japan.
Namaskaran ka. I'm from Japan.
Japan, okay.
Yes.
You're Thai living in Japan?
I'm Thai. I'm living in Japan.
Okay.
I have no question, Phrasuchart. Just nice to. I just want to say thank you for your kindness to be here for us.
All right. Okay, you're welcome.
Satu ka.
Junko Kubilan from Indonesia.
Namaskar, Ajahn. I have a question, Ajahn, today. I read from a book by Tinahan. So it is, I don't know, is it written in the suttas or not, but according to the book, the highest level of sila or having precept is to have sati or mindfulness. Can you explain this, Ajahn? I mean, like, as a lay people, we try to practice 5 or 8 sila, but how can we get that level of having sati or mindfulness, Ajahn?
By practicing sati and mindfulness. The more mindfulness you have, then the more you'll be able to control your mind, your cravings, and your desire to do wrong things.
But is the words, correct based on Buddha's teaching, Ajahn?
Yes. See, once you can control the mind, then you can control the precepts. You can keep the precept. It's the mind who is breaking the precepts. So if you have mindfulness and wisdom, then you can control the mind stop the mind from breaking the precept.
I see, Ajahn. But as we are still practice, how can we have sati every time, Ajahn?
By reciting Bhutto every time, all the time. Or keep watching what your body is doing all the time. Then you will have sati, you have mindfulness.
Okay, Ajahn. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, come on, you're from Thailand. So,
ค่ะนมัสการค่ะพระอาจารย์ actually I'm with my husband right now, and we both have a question about the belief in the faith in Buddhism. Okay, I understand that as long as we haven't actually reached nirvana yet, we will have to be reincarnated. We will be reincarnated like all the time. And since we cannot, how do I keep faith in having reincarnation? So I keep doing good thing in this life, so that I build up the good things, and after reincarnation, maybe I'm having a better life and hopefully getting into nirvana. I mean, I always have this question whenever I feel something like when I'm start losing faith, because how do I make sure that this life is not the only life that I have? So after I die, everything just gone.
well, right now you cannot prove it for yourself. See? So you need to believe in someone who has already proven this truth, and this someone is the Buddha. So you have to believe in the Buddha. You are like a blind person, while the Buddha is a person who's not blind. So you need someone who's not blind to guide you, to lead you, until you eventually have fixed your own eyes. Then when you can truly see by yourself, then you don't need to believe in the Buddha anymore. But right now you're like a blind person. So you have to trust the person who's helping you.
Thank you very much, Kapachan, because I have few people around me who doesn't believe in life after death or reincarnation. So sometimes when I talk to many people, sometimes I just yeah.
Well, you cannot convince them because you yourself haven't seen it yourself. See?
Yeah.
So don't try to convince them. If they don't want to believe them, that's their business. Leave them alone. But for you, it's important to believe in the Buddha. That's all. Because the Buddha never lie, never cheat. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kapachan.
Okay, you're welcome. Where are you now? In Thailand or?
I'm actually in Thailand, in Khon Kaen.
Khon Kaen. Okay. Right. Good. Next, Alvin Lee. Alvin Lee from Malaysia.
Good evening, Dhanajan. Dhanajan, just to reconfirm this, My current practice is still I'm still doing breathing and Buddha together. So when sometimes halfway through my meditation, one of it, the Buddha will just drop off and I'll continue with my breathing meditation. Is that okay?
Yes, either one, just do either one alone, Buddha alone or watching the breath alone.
But I do both together when I start.
Yeah, that's also okay.
When
you get to the point where you don't need both, then you just use one.
Yes, okay. Thanks, Tanajan. That's all I need.
Okay. Looks like everybody in the room has already asked the question. So I will go to Facebook question now. Is there any? Pante first, okay. Pante Marapanyo.
Hello, most venerable Ajahn.
Are you a monk? I'm sorry. Pante Marapanyo, are you a monk?
Oh, yes, Ajahn, I am bhikkhu.
I see. Okay, where are you from? Where are you living
right now? Right now, I'm in America with my teacher in New York City for Dhamma Yatra, Dhamma trip.
I see. So, what do you do for the Dhamma Yatra? You walk or you travel?
We travel by car. Many people follow the master from Myanmar, and we go by car from New York to California, staying at temple and opening some center also, some new center.
Okay. Do you have any question today?
Yes, Ajahn. Yes, Ajahn. I wanted to ask about, as we detach more and more in our meditation practice, and how to not become attached to the body falling away, or to the experiences of the body as we get deeper into meditation.
Well, if you are deeper into meditation, the mind will detach itself automatically from the body. But when you come out of meditation, then the mind becomes reattached to the body again. That's when you need to use wisdom to remind yourself that the body is temporary, that one day you're going to have to lose your body. So you have to prepare for that thing when it happens, and not be saddened or be disturbed by the dissolution of the body, by remaining calm. Understand?
Yes, Ajahn.
See, when you meditate, you're actually pulling your mind away from the body temporarily. When your mind becomes perfectly still, then the body will seem to be disappear from the mind's consciousness. But after you come out, then you reconnect or reattach to the body, and then you start to think that the body belonging to you again. So then you have to keep constantly reminding yourself that the body doesn't belong to you forever. Sooner or later, you will have to give up this body. And the way to give up this body without having any pain is to remain calm with equanimity. By not reacting, by not having any desire to keep the body. When it's time for the body to go, let it go. Okay, understand what I say?
Yes, Ajahn, I have one more question to share.
Please go ahead.
Sometime when I have gotten into more calm meditation, two things happen. One is that the body will go from being very uncomfortable and very much in pain to being very calm and settled and no pain. And the other is that sometime my concentration start to be more and more, and the attention goes to the heart. And then sometimes the heart is beating faster and faster and faster. And at that time, I unsure what to do in my practice. It's like I attach to the heart.
You shouldn't use the heart as your object of meditation. If you use the breath, then you should stick to the breath and ignore the heartbeat itself. What do you use when you meditate? Do you use something as an object of meditation, object of focus?
I use some different method, many times to use the breath, and then to use more like an open awareness method, not to take a particular object, but just to be aware.
Well, see, if you do this, you might not be able to calm the mind yet, because your mind is still what you call it, still has a lot of defilement. So you need something as an object of concentration to prevent your defilement from being active. If you just have open awareness, then your defilement can come up and then disturb you and not making your mind to become calm. So you should use open awareness. Only when you have strong mindfulness and able to stop your defilement and your thought, then you can use that. As soon as you see you start to think, if you use open awareness, you should know right away when you have thoughts or you have defilement. And then you should have strong enough mindfulness to stop it right there and then. If not, then you won't achieve anything by using it. Because the purpose of meditation is to calm your mind, to still your mind, not to allow any mental activity to happen. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Where are you? In front of the place you stay, outside? It's like sunny
No,
day.
I just going for a walk, so I stopped, and then to stop in front of some house.
I see. There's a sign in the back.
Yeah, shopping sign or must be some business.
Are you the only bhikkhus who are in this Dhamma Yatra, or
there are some guest monk who are following on the trip to support the master. 2 Burmese monk. One is a new one, and one is an older one, independent monk. But there are many lay people following, and many CLA, many nun following.
And on your stop, you do practice meditation during your stop?
Try to do all the time. Also
time.
driving.
Also,
I have to drive for the Sayadaw, for the master. So I practice a meditation, driving meditation with the master.
So how do you drive it when you meditate at the same time?
Just to notice the distraction and then go back to focus on driving.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I thought you close your eyes and meditate when you drive. All right. Good. I hope you enjoy your trip and find peace and happiness along the way.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. I think what next? I think it's time for the Facebook question now. Okay. Kuna.
There are two questions from Facebook, Thanachan. First question from Yapto. Namaste, Ajahn. Can a person who attains Sotapanna still have a dream? Thank you.
Still dream? Yes. Because when you dream, you cannot stop the mind from thinking, and when you think, it becomes dreams. But usually, you only have good dreams, not bad dreams.
And last question from Un. Good evening, Ajahn. I'm Bun Un from Penang, Malaysia. Please, Ajahn, explain what the difference between knowing mind and right mindfulness when in meditation. Thank you.
Because the mind is a knower, see, on the knowing. And right mindfulness is the ability of the mind to make the mind focus on something specifically, like a mantra or on the breath. I think this is I'm not sure whether it is what you asked for or not, but the knowing mind is the mind itself. No mind who knows. And my mindfulness is to have this mind knows only and not think, just to merely know.
That's
Okay,
all, Thanachan.
that's all the question. Okay, we'll come back to the room now. Anybody in the room would like to ask any more questions? You're welcome to raise your hand and unmute the microphone. We have about 12 more minutes left before we end up with the 2-hour session. Anybody would like to contribute anything? If not, question? Maybe do some critical thing about the room. Maybe what we should do with the room to improve it better, or what?
Okay, Alex.
Oh, Alex, okay. Alex, where are you from?
Good evening, Thanachan. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
I'm from Austria.
Austria.
I would like to ask you about the mindfulness. And before you were talking with, I think William it was, and it was about the question of mindfulness and the snake.
Sneaking
out, yeah. So I was wondering if as of when is one mindful? When you just follow your breathing and pay your attention to the breathing?
Yes, solely.
Okay, thank you.
When you meditate, but at other times you have to be also mindful of your movement, your body movement, whatever your body action. Whatever you do, you should be focusing only on that action. Like if you are brushing your teeth, you should only be focused on brushing your teeth, not letting your mind go think about some other thing else.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Who else would like to ask?
Joko.
Yes. ครับอาจารย์ one more question. I want to ask about my experience when I meditate. So as a lay people, I still listen to music every day. And when I start my meditation, particularly in sitting meditation, there's a moment that the music that I listen played on some moments of my meditation. And I think this is still mild compared to the first time I learned meditation, where there are a lot of distractions, like my overthinking, my worriness, and there are other thinking. My question is, what things should we prepare before we start our meditation so we can get less distraction in our meditation?
You have to keep the 8 precepts. You have to maintain the 8 precepts. Then you cannot watch movies, you cannot listen to music, or any type of entertainment. And you cannot eat too much either, because this will become hindrance in your meditation. If you eat too much, you become sleepy. If you watch movies or listen to music, when you meditate, these movies and music will appear in your mind.
I see. So that will still happen if I still listen to music, yeah, Ajahn.
Well, when you listen to music, you're recording it in your mind. See? And when you meditate, then you play back. You replay the music that you recorded.
Yes, I got it, Ajahn. Probably I will try to
Don't
look
listen to
and
music.
observe.
You want to empty your mind because real happiness is in the emptiness of the mind. Not in music, not in movies, not in food, not in anything. These are all temporarily happiness. They come and go right away and leave you empty. But with the mental emptiness, this will give you permanent happiness.
I will try to observe it when I practice Atasila, Ajahn.
Yes. Normally, when people meditate, they usually keep the 8 precepts. But if they don't expect much from the meditation. You cannot expect too much if you just keep the 5 precepts and meditate. You get some result from your meditation with the 5 precepts, but not as much as with the 8 precepts.
Yes, I understand, Ajahn. ขอบคุณครับ Ajahn.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, B. Ravin, or Ravin. What's your name? How do you pronounce your name?
Ravin.
Ravin. Okay, Thai name.
Yes, yes, it's a Thai name. Yes, Tanajan, just a quick question regarding one of the factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, right? Livelihood, where it mentions not to do work on drugs, on animals, on humans, on intoxicants. Is it considered breaking the precept if we work in one of those industries, or it's just bad practice?
I think it has this. You should look at it more locally than in the larger picture, because sometimes you work in a company and the company might create bombs and killing people, but you don't actually do it, So it's up to your conscience really to decide how much you want to be pure with this livelihood. The best way to have pure livelihood is to be a monk like me. And then your livelihood is to go on bintabata, on alms round. Then you don't hurt anybody. You make everybody happy. People give alms happy, and I give the food that I don't use, I give it to other people. They are so happy. So, but other than that, if you're a layman, you're a lay person, then your livelihood will somehow intertwine with so many things. And sometimes it's unavoidable. Like if you work for the bank might be financing some bad, enterprise, manufacturing arms, for instance, arms manufacturer. But everything is so connected, so you cannot really separate. So you have to think of it locally. You yourself, are you actually hurting anybody? Like if you make a living from killing chicken as a living, then this is wrong. You don't want to do it. But if you work for a company that has chicken farms, but you yourself don't kill the chicken yourself, So when you want to draw the line, I don't know.
Yes, that's a good perspective, Tanajan. I never thought of that before. It depends on, as you said, where to draw the line.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Tanajan.
All right, we have about 3 minutes left. Looks like everybody happy, everybody content. EV again. Okay, EV. Final question.
Yeah, Ajahn. Ajahn, I want to ask, does giving up include upeka? Giving up.
Giving up what?
Giving up to not feel win or lose. Just let the person be happy and feel won, and everything will be fine again.
Yes, that's ubeka. Not to react to loss or win. Just let things be.
Okay. Then what about when we face people who have the high ego and always want to win, because I usually just let them win because I don't need that win winning from someone like this also doesn't get a trophy, all right? But what if I criticism that person because that person has done too many attitudes and ways to speaking that tend to be rude and sometimes annoying me? I usually just let it go, but there was one time I criticized not to do this bad habit, and that person wasn't happy with me.
That's because you lost your ubeka, you lost your equanimity.
So I must just let and don't only one time criticism.
Just pretend yourself dead. If you're dead, then things go on. People still continue on doing good or bad things. You don't have to get involved with them.
Yeah, just one time. Because I usually just...
If you want to have perfect equanimity, then you have to pretend yourself dead. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn. Okay. Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
All right. I think that's about it for tonight or for today, whichever the case may be. Thank you all for joining this meeting. I hope that you have benefited something from it and help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please be safe, be mindful, and keep on practicing. And I'll see you again. If all goes well, I'll see you again next week at the same time. Thank you and goodbye.
สาธุเจ้าค่ะ
สาธุ
Thank you, Prajan. Sadhu. Thank you.
Sadhu,
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Sukha Prajan.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prajan.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.